At Harvard, and I think over there is definitely the best angle of this building. It is called Memorial Church, and it was built in 1932 and dedicated to soldiers who fought in World War I, as you can tell by that plaque right there. But it was later expanded to also commemorate soldiers from World War II and the Korean and Vietnam Wars. It is non-denominational, so any religious organization can hold services here. And it also has wedding services, but they are very infrequent. I've only seen evidence of one wedding ever, and that's only because I saw them taking pictures outside during a tour. It was the first and only time I've ever seen a wedding. And the wait list for it is about 3 years long. Historically, apparently, very hopeful Harvard students will put their name down on their senior year and just hope for the best and hope they find someone by the time their name shows up in those 3 years. I have never heard of anyone doing this recently, but there are many stories of people doing this, so I guess they did. Right in front of this building is Tercentenary Theater, and by theater, I just mean the grass everywhere. We just call it a theater for some reason. It was dedicated in 1942 and was used for commencement after the size of commencement exceeded the capacity of the building we were just at. And I got to work for Harvard's commencement, and I was one of the very few students that got to see it before I graduate, because they're very stingy with tickets, and it's very hard to see the big ceremonies. But the biggest of these ceremonies is held right here in Tercentenary Theater. But Harvard College students don't actually receive their degrees at this huge fancy ceremony, and instead they receive their diplomas at separate small ceremonies in their individual houses. So there are 12 different ceremonies where they receive their diplomas, and that makes graduation not too long, which is really great for parents especially. And this kind of emphasizes how big of a part of our identity our houses are supposed to become, because we graduate with the same people that we've lived with and worked with and eaten with for the past 3 years, and all the people that we chose to live with in our class. And I also got to see that Harvard's graduation lasts about 5 days, and there are so many different ceremonies during it, which was very surprising. This area is also used for Harvard's first-year convocation, which is the welcome ceremony that they have for all the incoming freshmen at Harvard. Coming from the middle of nowhere, this was by far the most extravagant thing I have ever seen, and maybe will ever see. It has been my favorite experience at Harvard so far. Lots of people wear top hats. They also do this during graduation. I'm not sure why. If you have any ideas, let me know. I always wonder what visitors think when they come to Harvard and everyone's walking around wearing top hats, because that's very confusing. Some famous speakers in this area include Oprah Winfrey, Angela Merkel, and also JFK. I happened to stumble across the speech that JFK gave here at Tercentenary Theater, all typed up with his annotations on the side of it while I was in the Harvard archives, which was very fun to see because I talk about it right here, and I wasn't even looking for it. And now we can walk across Tercentenary Theater and over to the big, huge library right there.
C'est la bibliothèque de Harvard.